Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Advanced Practitioners Network podcast. I'm your host, Nikki Brogan, and we have a powerhouse conversation ahead with two phenomenal guests that I'm so excited to introduce you to. First, I'm honored to welcome Shauna Aiken, a master licensed esthetician, international skin science educator, and the U.S. distributor for GlycoAla Bio. Shauna brings over 2 decades of experience in advanced aesthetics, having worked in elite plastic surgery and dermatology practices across the Pacific Northwest. She's educated for top cosmeceutical brands, consulted for Allergan's Aesthetic Leadership Forum, and even authored The Skin Science Warrior, a global collaboration focused on advancing transparency and innovation in our industry. Today, she'll share how GlycoAla Bio is not only transforming skin outcomes, but also aligning with the regenerative and integrative goals of today's forward-thinking clinics. Welcome, Shauna.
Hello.
Hi. Also with us is Diane Morrell, co-founder of the Advanced Practitioners Network. Diane is a leader in compounding education, clinical innovation, and business strategy. And she'll offer real-world insight into how clinics can successfully implement novel therapies like GlycoAla Bio to drive both patient outcomes and practice growth. Shauna, Diane, thank you both so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go ahead and just jump right in. Shauna, I'm going to start with you. Let's start with the basics for anyone unfamiliar with GlycoAla Bio and why it's making waves in both the aesthetic and integrative medicine worlds.
So to give you a fair start with this, a little bit of background will be helpful. As I've been in the industry for many, many years, I was always very concerned about what I exactly was doing in patients' skin. I didn't really understand some of the processes that were happening, and neither did the people that were selling devices nor the physicians. Nobody really had a good explanation for these sorts of things. So it wasn't until I met the research of Professor Des Fernandez and Matthias Aust about 9 years ago that this gap in education started to be filled. And I started to learn more about how the skin really works. It's communication, it's highly sophisticated. We know these things, but somehow that's sort of eluded most of the industry. And every treatment was focused on altering it physically, not changing it physiologically. And so this is something that GlycoAla Bio, it's like the ideal treatment that I've been waiting a lifetime for, because what it does is the body can always do better. So we just need to learn how to work with it, how to communicate it, how to reset it when it needs coaxing. And this is what this very simple, but yet quite advanced GlycoAla Bio treatment is about. It's about cell signaling. It's about a downstream, upstream approach, regenerative, auto-regenerative, and restoration, rehabilitation to the health of the cells, the individual skin cells. And that's just something very different and very rare in the industry. Medical needling, microneedling is another type of auto-regenerative process or procedure, but its results take a lot longer. This one has very rapid results, which doesn't seem, real results are never quick. But with this, because of an apoptotic pathway and a course of action that it takes in the skin, you see real changes from the inside out that are lasting, which is very, very unusual. And it can treat any skin type, any skin condition, and it's only a little 3-millimeter bottle. So that's what's exciting about it. Something very unique, therapeutic horizon. It's got 4 things in one. It does superficial exfoliation, which is not really something that with healthy skin you need to be concerned about, but the collagen induction therapy, the delivery of 11 synergistic actives, they build upon one another when used in this formulation. So we use very low doses, but we have all this array of activity for healing, for reducing redness, antibacterial, reducing pigmentation, collagen turnover, elastin stimulation, just complete renewal of skin. So I call it sort of survival of the fittest. It's an apoptotic extrinsic pathway, which means it biomodulates or it goes through programmed cell death. And there's not very much inflammation because programmed cell death doesn't cause a spillage outside of the cell constituents. There's not a lot of inflammation. And that's what we want to reduce is inflammation. So this does create a molecular wound healing cascade, but it's triggered from a histamine response, from an apoptotic pathway. So that's really brilliant and unique in itself. This company, Alamed Aesthetics, they have other auto regenerative procedures. I've known them for a while, and I was very excited when they came to me with this, because it's about a little bottle that can literally give you new skin from the inside out, totally safe. And I think it's the future.
I'm going to pick apart so many different things you said throughout that as we get through the podcast. But for a moment, I'm going to switch over to Diane and ask her, from your experience, Diane, how does GlycoAla Bio products align with the broader goals of integrative medicine clinics from your experience?
I think GlycoAla Bio is honestly a perfect fit for integrative medicine clinics because it checks every box we prioritize: natural innovation, multifunctional clinical utility, and minimal downtime. At APN, we work with providers who are looking for regenerative tools that do more than mask symptoms. They're looking for treatments that restore, rejuvenate, and support the body's innate healing processes. And GlycoAla fits that bill to a T. Their use of Spongilla spicules as the biological microneedling system is an elegant example of that philosophy in action. Without requiring heat, acids, or invasive tools, it's opening up over 2.5 million microchannels to deeply deliver a synergistic blend of 11 active ingredients. That part is so incredibly unique because in order to see the greatest efficacy, you have to get it deeper into the dermis. And that is the way that you do it, is through those microchannels. And we're talking arbutin, niacinamide, marine botanicals. Like, there's so many incredible things that make up this product. You just can't go wrong with it. And ultimately, the result is a formulation that targets everything from pigmentation and inflammation to sebum regulation and collagen production, all while being gentle enough for sensitive skin types. So in the integrative setting, this allows practitioners to offer non-invasive skin rejuvenation that aligns with whole body wellness goals. It's layering treatments with other modalities like peptide therapy or LED for stacked protocols. And you're being given an opportunity to serve a wider patient base looking for natural, evidence-informed skincare without harsh chemicals or significant downtime. It just absolutely embodies the kind of innovation we're always looking to elevate: safe, effective, holistic, and deeply rooted in both nature and science.
Diane, you're hired. No, she really did say it all. And what I have to say is it came from a Cyprin plastic surgeon and his team of biochemists who, like I said before, I'd worked with. He does these autoregenerative procedures, and they're absolutely brilliant. And what all of these ingredients do, as we mentioned, the gluconolactone, all the marine extracts, niacinamide, rosicanina extract, magnesium ascorbyl phosphate, which is vitamin C. All of these things are going to produce this new skin that's coming more quickly. It turns over in 7 days what would happen in a full skin cycle. That's what's amazing about it. It's because of that process of survival of the fittest, elimination or biomodulation of those that are not serving us best. So this is how that works. I've never seen anything like this, and that's why I'm so excited. It was an absolute gift because I'm such a particular person, and I've really had a hard time finding anything that checks all the boxes. As Diane said, it's a completely holistic, device free. It's safe. It's minimal downtime, lasting results. All of those things are really sort of unheard of in the industry that I've worked in for, over 25 years, and why I'm here right now.
This product is going to be a game changer. Truly.
It is a game changer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so now that we understand what really makes this product unique, can we go ahead and talk about how it fits into a clinic service offering? So Diane, I'm going to scoot back to you here and ask, what strategies should clinics focus on when adding GlycoAla Bio to their offerings to boost business growth?
This is such a great question, and something that APN is highly focused on in any of the products that we recommend. We always want to have a pathway for clinics to integrate it, because what's the point of a great product if you don't know how to use it, who to sell it to, how to market it? Those are all such critical pieces to this entire industry. And this is where GlycoAla Bio really shines as a growth tool. It's not just a product, it's genuinely a practice building protocol. And here's a few proven strategies clinics should absolutely focus on. One, Position it as a regenerative skin reset, not just a facial. Frame GlycoAla Bio as a biological microneedling alternative that triggers real cellular renewal without needles, acids, or downtime. This attracts those wellness-minded patients looking for results-driven, non-invasive options. And I think that's an area that is massively growing right now in the aesthetics and regenerative realms. Secondly, bundle it into integrative protocols. This is where you have a huge opportunity to grow the market you already have. You don't necessarily need to go out and find this entirely new market to advance this protocol. This is something your existing patient base will see benefit from and absolutely grasp onto because there are proven outcomes. And the fact that there's that minimal downtime, it's just so easily integrated into existing protocols. So pair it with other in-clinic services like peptide therapy for that inside out skin regeneration kind of a piece. If you have LED or red light therapy to extend the benefits, that is a great opportunity as well. IV nutrients or glutathione pushes for full body antioxidant synergy. Like, you've got some really easy wins here. This is going to boost the perceived value and ultimately increase that ticket size. Number 3, use before and after photos strategically. I'll tell you what, we've got some before and afters from Shauna, and that is absolutely the easiest conversation to have when a practice or a patient is looking at those and can literally see what this product is capable of doing. And everybody wants to see those outcomes. So because most patients see visible changes in 15 to 30 days, it's ideal for that photo-driven marketing. Encourage 2 sessions spaced 2 weeks apart and showcase progress at the 1-month mark. This is going to highlight improvements in tone, texture, pore size, and pigmentation. And like, you just can't go wrong with true life before and afters. Every patient wants that. They want to be in that group. Target specific patient pain points. So this is where you have tailored messaging for post-acne scarring, melasma or uneven pigmentation, dull, dehydrated, or photo-aged skin, which I was suffering from. I had this done, and I'll walk through kind of my results here further in. But this is where you have that huge opportunity to market to these existing patient bases that are struggling with these areas, and they've already done things like laser treatments or peels that are very invasive, that are frankly painful to recover from, and you're hiding out for weeks after you get these procedures done. This is something you get it done on a Monday, you're back in public, that same day, that same afternoon. You're not walking around losing 12 layers of your skin. It's such an easy sell for that patient population. It makes it a go-to option for those underserved segments. And then number 5, let's launch this with a founding client promo or skin series package. This is where you get to introduce this to your existing market, and you get to do it in such a way that you're saying, hey, I want to give you the opportunity to know and love this product as much as I do, and you're going to get an introductory rate to meet it and understand it. And then from there, once they get to see those results, because they will, then that's where they continuously are coming back at that full market rate, and you have that massive opportunity to build that recurring revenue stream. So create an introductory promotion like Skin Reset Series, 2 treatments plus home skincare, or offer it as a seasonal detox package. These are going to increase your patient engagement and allow for education and cross-selling. And then finally, make sure your team is educated on this, because understanding the science behind this and the synergy of its 11 actives, when they're excited and confident, that's where you see conversion of consultations into actual bookings. Ultimately, GlycoAla isn't just a skincare treatment. It's a patient loyalty driver. It's a differentiator in your aesthetic menu. And it's a fantastic entry point for new patients who later become long-term clients.
I want to say one thing that Diane pointed out with laser treatments and other types of acids and procedures like that. This is completely non-injurious. It's a trigger to reset the skin. That's why I'm attracted to this procedure, because it's an inside out. It doesn't give you fibrosis, scarring. A lot of energy-based treatments result in fibrosis. Because when you think about it, when you put a sweater in the dryer, does it make the quality of the sweater better? Because you've addressed it with heat, it doesn't. So we're talking about giving that cell the opportunity to auto regenerate, to start over, to reboot, whatever you want to call it. That's what makes it different. It's a very different pathway. It is something that modern science can't change our evolved human physiology or biochemistry, and new discoveries merely change our ability to understand the intricate chemical pathways better. And this is what this is all about, is advancing our industry into what Diane was saying is something people want. This, they don't want downtime, they want real results. But it's, here we are in 2025 and this is still just emerging. So that's why I'm really excited, because I feel like I've been waiting my whole career for this. And it does go with other things. You can pair it with LED, IPL, all different sorts of modalities are appropriate for this. But this is just the differentiating thing. Anybody with skin needs it.
If your patients have skin, they are a prime candidate for GlycoAla.
Yep.
So everybody that walks through your door, they're getting it.
I think that's true. I mean, any refinement of pores, any type of skin concern that you have or that you don't want to have, prevention as well, right? So these are things that we have to take into account. And I just can't reiterate how great it is to be device free, to not worry. It's your hands. You're in control. You're in total control. This is more advanced procedure. That's why we focus on education. I'm a international skin science educator. So it's very important you understand what you're doing in the skin and how this works, because if you can speak to your patient or your client, as Diane was saying, it's a home run because they trust you. You have integrity. They're going to stay with you, and then they're going to see the results. So that's what I love about this, is it's a home run.
That's something I talk about all the time with clinics that we support, is this entire industry is built on trust. Your patient is coming to you because they trust what you're recommending to benefit what they're coming to see you about. So this is where, as a clinician, as a practitioner, you have a massive opportunity to build that trust. And this is what I always recommend to clinics, is start with something that you know works before you build into something that you're realistically looking at long-term benefit from. Because when you can demonstrate that short-term efficacy with a product that you're recommending, that's where you get their buy-in. That's where they're coming back and saying, okay, let's take a look at some of those longer-term products that I'm not going to see the result tomorrow from. And this just continues to build your experience and your patient perspective of you being the expert. So be the expert, demonstrate your knowledge, your fluidity, your progressiveness in understanding what the future holds and being able to offer that before the rest of the industry. Shauna, you're the only US distributor, right?
I am, and it's just brand new in the entire world. So it's people are like, well, where do I find this, or where's this, or where's that? We're just starting. I mean, they did a couple of years of clinical trials. This has been in production for quite a while, but Dr. George won't let it out until it's just right. So it's a very exciting time. And not only that, they have other similar procedures coming that also are for the professional, are for the inside out, body does better, and so on. So stay tuned, because that's going to be very cool as well.
I love that.
Shauna, you touched on something in response to Diane briefly, and that was the training, the staff education. Diane, you mentioned making sure everybody's properly equipped to bring this service on. So Shauna, I would love to know what kind of support is provided to ensure smooth implementation into a clinic setting.
What I'm going to say right off the bat, we want to lean on science, not marketing. This is all based in empirical science and study, clinical analysis. So this is something that the education is foremost important. I really am being quite particular about who we let have this product. It's very special. So we want to make sure you actually understand what it is and what it can do, because that's the way it's going to be successful for everyone. So we definitely do training, and that can go as long or short as needed for your particular practice. And we have a lot of education beyond just the GlycoAla, what's in it and what it does. We have a bunch of skin science to share with you too, which it's a repository of over 30 years of science that we have to share. So it's really kind of individual. What do you need? I'll make sure you're set to go. It's a growing process as well. We're always available, and there's more to come.
We're so committed to the growth of GlycoAla. We even had you come in and do one of our APN courses to help train our network, where providers and their support staff, any member of their team, can watch and learn from the additional course. So outside of the amazing training that you're providing that's ongoing for as long as short as needed, there's an additional opportunity here for everybody to learn more about how to make this a huge success through APN, which is truly Diane's mission.
Yeah. Yeah, it couldn't have been a better fit. It was almost like this was meant to be, Diane. When I met you and I saw she got it right away. She understood what I stood for was, science, real results, reliable, things that are going to lasting, you know, just the truth. And she caught on. And then when I introduced this to her, she got it right away. And that, I think it was meant to be. It was really meant to be, because this is where this belongs. It belongs with people who want to work with the body this way, that want to respect and grow and be just with as much integrity and intelligent working with the body as possible.
No, honestly, when we first met, it was at a conference, and you were the booth right next to us. And I remember having an opportunity to chat with you and just be like, she is on it. She knows her stuff. She's clearly an expert in her field. And then you reached out and said, hey, we're bringing a new product to market. Like, let's kind of chat, see how we can make this work for APN and the clinicians that you guys support. And then we started digging into the science, and we've recently kind of adopted this tagline of APN is where science meets soul. And this is such a representation of that, because this is truly where science meets soul. This is where it is clinically backed. It is scientifically supported. Not all clinical studies translate clinically. Like, we've learned that, we've seen that in practice, but this is one of those real opportunities where what is demonstrated in the clinical studies is actually very well representative in the clinical basis and the outcomes. And so this is science and soul married.
I love it, because that's really what my dream was, all this time, was to find the best tools for professionals to get, because if people trust you, we talk about trust, they really do, and you have to give them the absolute best that you know. And I was very disappointed for a long time in a lot of things. This is something that just a whole new therapeutic horizon opened up, and it's just the beginning. I mean, there's more coming.
It is.
And I know we're just getting started with the launch worldwide, but you made a comment in regards to results. And I'm just curious to know if you have any success stories that you'd be able to share with us where we've significantly impacted both a patient's life and practice growth.
So it's very new in the US. However, I do have actually a patient in my Seattle clinic that had very bad acne scarring, rolling acne scars. And we've done 3 or 4 of these treatments, one more, 4, and we've seen significant improvement in the skin, looking smoother, softer, increasing collagen. Of course, it doesn't change, fat deposition or what's underneath the skin, but the quality of the skin is improved markedly. And his father, who has dementia, actually asked if he got a new face. So I don't know if you're gonna have to add, but I mean, how's that? I think that works pretty well. Yeah, no, it's a very real results. What I'm meaning by that is what we're doing is we're laying down healthy tissue, no scar tissue. And you only get that when you don't injure the skin. You don't get elastin when you use energy-based procedures. You only get that very specific ones that sneak in, like needling too, where you're not disrupting any part of the architecture, any part of the function. What you're just doing is you're eliciting a beautiful orchestration of molecular expression. And it's going to tell different pathways. We're going to do this, this, or this, but it's just non-injurious. So it's going to lay down youthful tissue, more collagen type 1 than 3.
I actually had the GlycoAla Bio treatment at our last APN event that you were very gracious to come and speak at. And I didn't just love the results. Other people noticed. I kept getting comments about, wow, your skin looks really great. You have like this glow. And isn't that the real testament? That was only after one treatment. That was one treatment. But isn't that the real testament to when something works, when other people notice? I mean, I had so many comments about how great my skin looked after that. I think what stood out to me most for me was like how dramatic the improvement in my skin's texture and just overall radiance was pretty immediately. I mean, that same day I was getting comments about how I had a glow. That same day, the next several days, like it was very clear that I had had something done and I looked amazing. And I kept getting so many comments about it. And it wasn't just like this surface level glow, it was a deep kind of lit from within luminosity. My skin felt incredibly soft, very smooth, totally luxurious to the touch. And even when I wore makeup, that glow still came through. What really impressed me was that it didn't vanish when the makeup came off. So, that healthy, vibrant look just stayed with me. It felt like my skin was just upgraded.
So that's really the rehabilitation of the cell. It's not a topical treatment that's going to infuse the upper layers and give you a glow and you look great for an event. This is something that's a real change from underneath. And that's why it's so great, because it's from the inside out. And that's the way I don't practice any other way now. It's always inside out. I don't take skin off. I don't do anything but respect that beautiful performance of that organ. It's our biggest immune organ, so we better keep it on.
Yeah, I got to treat it well. And then I'll
Hmm.
also comment on the procedure itself was surprisingly well tolerated. When you think about the science behind how this works, I mean, these are realistically super microneedles, right? Like that's the easiest way to kind of like put it in perspective for people. When you consider, you're massaging microneedles into your face, like that sounds very concerning. It sounds like it could be very uncomfortable, very painful, but it wasn't. It was surprisingly tolerable. Especially when you consider the concept of massaging microscopic needles into your face. And it sounds intense, but in reality, it's very manageable. I would say the gel has like kind of a gritty exfoliating texture when it's applied to the skin, very similar to fine sand or like a sugar scrub, almost kind of like that texture. But as the massage progresses, the sensation definitely becomes more stimulating, slightly abrasive, but I wouldn't call it painful. I would call it uncomfortable, but it's definitely not unbearable. And I think for practitioners with more sensitive patients, maybe a light layer of numbing cream, if they're really concerned about patients tolerating it, could easily take the edge off and just make that experience virtually discomfort free. It's one of those treatments that sounds scarier than it feels. I think the payoff is absolutely worth it. And I think everyone should do it. And then post treatment, there wasn't any lingering irritation or discomfort whatsoever. I was concerned during the procedure that I would feel kind of like raw afterwards, but that absolutely wasn't my experience. I had some mild peeling, which was totally expected, and the recovery was honestly minimal. When we're looking at this in comparison to more aggressive treatments like chemical peels or lasers that can really leave you hiding out for days or even weeks, this felt more like a gentle reset than a full-on recovery. And with the kind of results I saw, I'm like already counting down to my next session. Shauna, when can we schedule?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I love about it, because as a practitioner, this is a tool that does everything. So you could run an entire practice with your peptides and a couple of other things, and this GlycoAla Bio. It's pretty unusual to find something like this, and we want to have a safe profile. We want to have something that's reliable. We want something that we know is natural. It just hits every box is checked, almost too many boxes. So that's what we love about it. It's a no-brainer, a game changer, no brainer. And you can do hands, you can do décolleté, you can do neck. I did my neck the other day. It's still a little pink, but no problem, right? It's not sensitive. I don't feel the spicules in there. They're about 280 nanometers long and about 0.1 or 0.10 wide. So they're very sharp. They're microscopic. You get 2 to 3 million pathways in the skin delivering these active ingredients, which are extremely healing and are brilliant, because you don't have potential for adverse side effects, because they're all at very low doses and they piggyback on one another. So I mean, we get all into all of that in the training. There's a lot to cover, actually.
I will say I'm really glad that you touched on the fact that this isn't just specific to face. Getting the neck and the hands, which frankly, those are two of the most difficult things to treat from an aesthetics perspective. I mean, you're really limited as far as like what you can do to those areas to help mitigate, age-related conditions and degradation. So like that's huge. And the other thing that you commented on is this isn't necessarily just relegated to age management or anti-aging regenerative med. It's so easy to just kind of like dial into that of, hyperpigmentation and long-term scarring and some of those pieces. But
Of
this
course.
is
That's the
great
biggest thing.
for, yeah, pores, even some of your hormonal acne components,
Mm.
cystic acne, teenagers and young adults who have struggled with acne for a long period of time and are dealing with the constant redness, the constant breakouts, the scarring. Like, this is a great option for that group as well.
Yeah, pretty much anybody. Oh, I'm just very excited to work with APN because I just really can't reiterate how it was a gift, like a perfect match, because of you understand it and you get it. And a lot of people really don't understand it because it's still that trendy marketing, magazine, the big cash stuff, the big medical devices, pharma, all of that. And this is really truly something that is a gift for everyone, for the world. I'm excited about that. And then not out of reach of anyone, not out of reach of the patient or the professional. So that's also what I love, because we want to make a better world. And if people feel good about themselves, their best self, then they have a better day. It's a trickle down effect. So I think it's really special.
Amazing. And we all know that getting results is one thing, right? But how do clinics create or integrate strong marketing material? And I know that we're going to touch base a little bit, not so much on quote unquote marketing, but more the science behind GlycoAla. And so I'm just curious to think what marketing strategies clinics should implement around that kind of thought process of focusing on the science versus traditional marketing strategies.
I think really what Diane said before about a reset, about an inside out, about a new opportunity to do an autoregenerative treatment, bioneedling, even though it's a very different pathway than our microneedling, it still has that non-injurious, beautiful cascade of healing that happens. So I think presenting it as an opportunity, a new therapeutic horizon that we're just getting in the United States, well, kind of all over the world, is very, very new. So this would be the approach I would take, that is going to help any concern you have, also concerns you may have in the future. Who doesn't want smaller pores? Even if you have almost poreless porcelain skin, people still complain about their pores. I go, I don't see any pores, but if you say so. So those are the things that, it can improve what you have genetically. It can make it as normal and as radiant and healthy. We want healthy is the word, healthy skin, healthy cells, rejuvenated cells, rehabilitated cells, whatever word you want to use. That is an opportunity. And I think that's easy to market. Your best skin is underneath there. We just need to get it out a little sooner and make sure the cells are healthy.
I definitely think with the whole marketing tactic, I mean, like you said, this is brand new to the US. You're the only US distributor. So for our listeners now, one of your biggest marketing tactics right now is going to be first to market. If you're
Right.
approved by Shauna and
Right.
GlycoAla to carry it and offer it, I mean, the biggest marketing tactic right now is introducing the science before anybody else does. To me, that's brilliant marketing right there.
So the salacious biological needles that we use are sourced in Europe. There are other procedures that are similar, but not on the level. I would say this is the next generation. This originated actually in plastic surgery. When you remove tissue, they were using similar components to stimulate tissue regrowth. Say you remove part of your ear, something similar to this was just deposited, and then you get tissue repair and tissue growth. So this is not new. These things have been around for a long time. It's just their sourcing and the application, the 11 synergistic actives, those things are all new to this particular type of therapy, but it's been around for ages and ages. But we're just now bringing it in because we're at this time when people want changes, real changes, and they don't want a lot of downtime. They want safety. So let's make it as elite and great as possible. And that's what Dr. George did.
Yeah. And many aesthetic practices are always looking for the next thing because these
Right.
peels and these lasers, it's becoming heavily saturated. Many of our APN members reach out to us from aesthetics clinics asking, what can we do? What's next? What's cutting edge? How can we break into functional medicine? And I feel like this is just such an easy add-on.
This is it, completely it. And that goes back to all of those other procedures are great, treatments are great, but they still don't really rehabilitate the cells. They alter them. It's not, when you put acid on a cell, you're not making it healthier. When you're lighting something up or shrinking it or causing heat shock protein release, if the cell isn't actually healthy, what are you really doing? So it's this very holistic approach. You've got to have the right home care. You've got to have the right nutrients. You've got to, it's a holistic thing. And this is just part of that whole process to give it back to the body. This is the future. Yeah. I really believe this is the future.
And we're in it now.
You are in it. You are in it.
Welcome to the future.
We have arrived.
I've been sitting here waiting and all of a sudden it came. How about that? I must gave up.
What a perfect hand for it to fall into, Shauna.
What did you say?
I said, what perfect hands for it to fall into? Your hands. You're the perfect.
Yeah, no, I've been waiting and really just like a little like troll waiting. waiting. But it's just the beginning. I see a lot of clinics fading away from some of the more traditional laser type, and there's nothing wrong. IPL, we love that, but we're talking about healing from the inside out. That's not what IPL does. It'll bust a chromophore out. It'll get rid of temporarily, but you're really not changing the health of that cell. Yeah. So this is what I mean by you can do all of those things, but you're going to be better off than anybody else if you have a secret weapon. And this is what I think is a secret weapon.
I love it. And before I jump to Diane about some common challenges that clinics face, because Diane is the queen of helping practices integrate new cutting edge, whether it's technology, products, services, medications, etc. Before I kind of tackle that, I'm sure most of our listeners who are considering bringing this on are curious what their ROI would be. So we know that there's going to be a wide variety based on location, target demographic, and how it's used in practice. But out of curiosity, can you give us a little insight into what practitioners can expect in regards to what an ROI potential could look like for them?
So this is the one thing that we can thank Dr. George for, because his intention, it's always about intention. He just wants to get good work out there and make a difference. So it's very reasonably priced. You can make back your cost of treatment in one treatment, because it's going really, the rates are going for what you charge for microneedling. That's kind of what we've decided. It's kind of up to your demographic, what you charge for that. But it's about $65 per treatment right now. That includes home care, which is something that I thought, oh, well, how great could this home care be, or this second product be? It's actually brilliant. You could use it for other procedures as well. It has some amazing anti-inflammatories, hydrating, antibacterial. I've never seen a product perform like that for post-procedure. So this is something that is really, really, really reasonable. And like I said, you're not purchasing a device. You're just ordering the little 3 milliliter bottle and the 3 little milliliter repair and revive that the patient goes home with. So it's a seamless and a controlled, also because you have that home care. You have control over what they're doing at home. And really it makes it so that you don't have to do a lot of hand holding. As long as your consult's good and you're very thorough about what to expect. And we have post-procedure cards, but really that Revive really helps you just mitigate any type of, oh, I feel really sunburned, or I'm this or I'm that. It just it smooths everything out.
And which member of a practice is able to actually do the treatment? So what scope of practice does this fall under?
So this would fall under anybody who is already working with skin, estheticians, nurses, physicians that like touching skin, like massaging, because it's not only are you delivering this great active, this great mechanism of action, you're also opportunity to touch people and that's something that also I can't speak enough about, is bringing it back to the one-on-one, to what we're really doing energetically with people. Not to get too woo-woo, but it's true. You know what I mean? This is part of healing. It's part touch, is part of healing. And so anybody that is delegated to do any type of aesthetics work is perfectly able to do this.
Perfect. Great.
Real quick to build on that, I think one of the things here that we should highlight is, and you touched on it, building that patient rapport. Again, this goes back to that trust factor. It goes back to that retention factor. This is where you have that true opportunity to mitigate that entire patient journey, that patient experience, and help them understand the science behind it, how this will benefit them, and build that long-term trust and that retention where they're coming back to you for all of their needs, not just, oh, give me a facial.
Right. Yeah. This is it just covers every type of connection and type of outcome, safety, anything that I'd want to once again check a box off for an ideal treatment. It really is. And I don't mean to brag about it. This is just a real gift. A long time ago, somebody gave me some really good advice. Somebody that was practicing skin therapy. That's what I like to call it, master skin therapy. And she told me they come back for your touch. You know what they do? And so this is something that you've got a loaded, opportunity to change their skin, but you also have that ability to really bring them in that way. And it's so true. I mean, I really believe in that.
No, I actually genuinely love that perspective because they're not wrong. Especially in the aesthetics realm, they can get these procedures, these products from any clinic out there, with the exception of GlycoBioAla. Like right now, this is an emerging market, but it's going to grow. And as it grows, you're going to see competition. They will not come back to you for access. They will come back to you for experience. That's
Perfect.
what it is.
I'm going to coin that one. That's excellent. Thank you.
You're
New
welcome.
marketing. Yeah.
I'm
Not for
the original Chat GPT.
Amazing. And I know we kind of touched on this a little bit before, Diane, so I'm going to kind of circle us back here in regards to integration and clinics who want to bring new items or services, products, etc., into their clinic. So walk me through how you would help them navigate some of these obstacles for onboarding this product.
I think this is truly going to be experiential. For this specific kind of recommendation, it's not even necessarily specific to GlycoAla. This is something that you should truly do for any product launch or any new service launch within a clinic. Even the most incredible product can fall flat without the right implementation. You could have the best product in the world. If you don't implement and execute correctly, it's not going anywhere. And so there are three common challenges that I typically see clinics face, and I can anticipate that they'll probably face when introducing something new like GlycoAla Bio to their market. And they all come down to training, team buy-in, and operational flow. So where staff training and confidence is concerned, if your team doesn't fully understand how the product works, or more importantly, why it works, it will not be presented with conviction. Here's a big tip. Go beyond the technical how-to. Educate your team on the science, the clinical benefits, and what makes it different. But better yet, let them try it, because personal experience builds confidence and authenticity in how they talk about it. And that's where conversion happens. It's when they believe in what they're selling. Number two is team buy-in. This all kind of is very tied in together, but a product only works when your whole team is on board. If it feels like just another thing to sell, like it's going to be an uphill battle. So involve your team in the rollout strategy. Let them see the value that it brings to those patients. And this is where those before and afters that Shauna already has is going to be so important. But this is also where their personal experience can really be leveraged. And you can use those as the initial before and after specific to your clinic. This is where it brings value to the patients and to the business. When they feel like stakeholders in the process, they are much more likely to champion it. And number three, operational integration. Sometimes the hardest part isn't the product, it's fitting it into your flow. Where does it go on the menu? How long does it take? How do we price it? Start with a pilot phase. Offer it in a limited package or seasonal promotion. Test how it fits into your current systems before doing like a full scale rollout. This will give you room to adjust before you have to scale it. Ultimately, the takeaway is innovation only works when your team is educated, empowered, and excited. Excitement is really, really critical there. If you invest in the rollout, not just the product, that's when it becomes a true growth tool, not just a line item.
I wanted to piggyback on what Diane was saying about this is also why I love it. It's so fast and efficient. 25 minutes. It's very easy, very easy. So and labor reduction. We're all looking for ways to make big changes and work smarter, not harder. And this is an ideal procedure for that. So that's 25 minutes in and out. And that's your ROI is going to go way out as well, because you can fit so many more patients in if you choose to do so.
That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, and what I was kind of tying into that was like the staff buy-in and rollout. As an ex-practice administrator, I can't tell you the countless hours of actually doing a poor rollout and how it negatively impacts not just the product, but the team's buy-in, where it becomes there so much harder in a month and a half when you're like, we're not selling this like I thought I was. This product's amazing. Why aren't we getting patients? And it's because your team from the very beginning didn't either understand it, they don't know how to sell it, or they don't like it. So that part at the beginning, the rollout part from an administrative operational standpoint is almost the key to success outside of the efficacy of the product. It's just
Absolutely.
huge.
Yeah, I think it's huge. And I think that's another thing that I hope to contribute is I want to make sure it's right for you as well. I'm not out here to just, push this and sell it and because it is very special and I don't need to do that. I want your success is our success and that's what we all want. We're not out for anything but everybody to win and everybody to have a great experience. That's really one of my primary goals.
And one thing we didn't touch on earlier, and I want to make sure that our listeners know, can you walk us through what's included in training? What should people expect?
So what they should expect is spending a little bit of time with me, whether whether they like it or not. You have a recording of a webinar. I'm going to go through that and I'm going to explain further because some of that some people may be very familiar with, others it may seem like I'm speaking a foreign language. So just kind of meeting where they're at and kind of giving some supplementary education. So it's all very individualized because it's not one size fits all. It's all very different. Who is their staff? What types of providers do they have in their practice? I need to know sort of all of those things. And then we talk about how to talk about it with the patient, because that's the most important thing is understand it really well to be able to talk to a patient. If you don't really understand it, that's what you said, Diane, about your staff being not only excited and well educated, they've got to have everything because that way they're equipped to give people something, right? To really give people that opportunity. It's very individualized, but definitely a very intense overview of what it is and how to use it, sort of the what happens and things afterwards, what are they going to experience, what are they going to feel, questions that are going to have, it's not needling, it's there's no blood, your skin stays on, all of these things. So it's quite a lot. It's a super simple procedure, but it's actually an advanced procedure because you have to have good judgment. But those are things I help you with, as far as, is the skin sensitive or does this person have very damaged skin, a compromised barrier? Are they dehydrated? But those are things that experienced skin practitioners or providers do know. So just helping you navigate all of those things is really what my goal is.
Amazing. Education is so important, both to us
It's a
at
number one.
APN and, of course, with you, we understand that. So the fact that we're not just shipping this product to people saying, read how to do it and off you go, I think elevates the product itself because you're going to be able to eloquently discuss it with people, whether it's your patients or your team. It's going to make a difference.
Yeah. And that's what differentiates it and makes it something that I want to be part of because I'm just part of just being very transparent, very ethical, very educated, doing your best you can for your patients. That's your responsibility. And so I'm really behind, giving everything that's needed for that.
Perfect. And let's talk about what's next. So we know we have this amazing product that all of our listeners are going to be on board with and are so excited to get started with. But I'm curious to see what GlycoAla is doing in the future of aesthetics and functional medicine and what innovations we can potentially expect in the future, if you're allowed to share.
Well, Dr. George told me I could not, but I want to tell you that there are different types of treatments that you can incorporate into some of the things we're already doing, like needling. And I know this is probably going to floor people. Some of the stuff that he is sharing that we're going to be able to do with mesotherapy is what they call it. More opportunities to work with really sensitized skins. That's also coming. So I can't say any more because I'll probably get in trouble for saying that. But like I said, he's a very special person. He's a very so much intention and integrity to do something completely natural and healthy and serve the patients in a way that I haven't seen very much of, unfortunately, that's why I wrote a book because it's pretty rare.
Well, to be a little punny here, we're on pins and needles waiting to figure out what's coming next from you guys. So we'll stay tuned for that. And then in and in the interim, Diane, how do you feel like these types of innovations are shaping the future of the integrative care model?
Uh, Innovations like GlycoAla Bio are redefining what's possible in integrative care. I think they represent a shift away from reactive single target interventions toward
Mhm.
multifunctional systems based solutions that support the body's natural ability to repair, regenerate, and thrive. I think what makes GlycoAla Bio so impactful is its fusion of science and simplicity. We've already talked about the biologically sourced delivery system that gently microchannels the skin without trauma. It also has that curated blend of 11 synergistic actives that address inflammation and oxidative stress and pigment irregularities, hydration, collagen loss, all at once. And critically, it does so with no downtime, which is basically unheard of in this entire industry, making it accessible to even sensitive or high risk patient populations. In the broader integrative model, this aligns really beautifully with our goal of restoring function rather than suppressing symptoms. And I think we're moving towards therapies that are preventative, not just corrective, non invasive, yet clinically potent, customizable, and stackable with other wellness protocols. And this empowers providers to personalize their care without overcomplicating that delivery system. So, for example, we've already talked about it can pair with peptides, LED, IV therapy, post-procedure healing plans that will enhance outcomes without increasing risk. Ultimately, this is the kind of innovation that expands what integrative care can offer, not just in skin health, but in the overall patient experience. It truly makes regenerative science-backed therapies more approachable, more visible, and more aligned with what patients are seeking: results with purpose.
I love that. Diane is now going to be the director of marketing for GlycoAla Bio. I'm just thinking, wow, this was so great to hear it in different words and hear it from somebody that's so um, just amazing, really, and understanding all of these things and how you picked us too. So I feel very grateful because this is something I think that there's the future is here and there's more to come, and it's a process of evolving and kind of just, as you say, using the body and the multi systems, not just one specific thing but just the entire experience.
Yeah, and it kind of loops back to what I was saying, Diane, because you brought up so much like functional medicine and aesthetics. We see so many aesthetics clinics right now trying to branch into functional medicine.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
what many of them will need to learn that we don't get from things like IPLs and peels and traditional aesthetic services is that we're not treating the root cause. We're treating the symptom. I have wrinkles, so I'm going to freeze my face so they don't progress. But it's not treating the cause behind it. And I think that's what truly aligns and makes this product so special, because it really is transcendent between these different industries, and you don't have a lot of products that can do that.
Yeah,
and,
this
and
isn't just a band-aid.
Yeah.
the differentiating thing is it happens so quickly. I don't want to get people overexcited, like it's not a facelift overnight, but by any means, when you have real changes, they take time. And that's the route that I've always known. Real change takes time. But because of the way it triggers this biomodulation and the rapid cell turnover, you get results much sooner. And that's what patients want as well. They don't always want to wait. They want something. And that's why, oh my gosh, I can give somebody something real. And I don't have to say, oh, you have to wait 2 years for your pigment to go away. I don't know if it's epidermal or dermal. You need two years, So
Mhm.
and everyone's different. That's why it's the consultation and the other supplementary additions to the treatment plan that you have all built in are going to be customizable for the individual. But this is such a great tool, is what it's getting at.
That also links back to integrative and functional medicine. It's completely personalized. So you're able to so easily incorporate it. I love the fact that you can switch between different industries so easily, making this, really accessible for any type of practitioner looking to expand their offerings.
Mm-hmm. And the smart ones will get it. Not this isn't for everybody. I mean, I've already had a few conversations with people. Oh, why should we do this and not do microneedling? And I said, I didn't tell you to do that. I said, they're different. You should do both. Find if you're doing both services, find out how you can rotate them or do a series of one and then the other. They're both triggering different different cell communications. So you want them all. This is opening more doors for
Yeah.
people.
It's not
It's
a
going to
replacement.
enhance.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to enhance anything else you're doing. It's like the icing on the cake. That's what I tell people.
And as we begin to wrap up, I'd love for each of you to leave our audience with a final insight. This happens to be one of my favorite parts of our podcast because we kind of get to take everything we've learned and loop it back into one thing. So my question to Diane to start is going to be, what advice would you offer to practitioners looking to stay ahead of the curve and integrate new innovative treatments like GlycoAla Bio into their practice?
My biggest piece of advice would be lead with curiosity, commit to education, and trust the clinical feedback loop. Innovation does not have to mean disruption. It should mean enhancement. And I think that's where GlycoAla Bio is a perfect example of that. It truly elevates what many clinics are already doing by offering a safer, more elegant, and biologically intelligent approach to skin rejuvenation. Here's how to stay ahead. Be selective, but not skeptical. Don't chase trends. Look for products like GlycoAla Bio that are rooted in mechanistic science and have clear evidence of synergy, safety, and broad spectrum efficacy. Ask, does this support healing? Does it simplify care? Will my patients feel the difference? Number 2 is stack, don't swap. Use innovations to layer value, not replace everything you already offer. We're not saying go get rid of all of your lasers and stop doing peels and totally change your entire practice. We're saying GlycoAla Bio can be integrated with your existing protocols, with your existing therapies. This is an addition without adding logistical burden or patient downtime. Let results be your marketing. This is where you have an opportunity to leverage those patient outcomes that you are experiencing in your own market and use those before and afters, those testimonials, the high retention protocols. These are your best tools because GlycoAla Bio shows visible change in 15 to 30 days. We're talking weeks to months, not months to years. Your patients now have become your biggest advocates. Train your team like partners. Your staff should truly understand not just how to use a product, but why it works. And you also have to get their buy-in in those outcomes. Show them the outcomes that your patients are having, or better yet, show them what outcome they can have. This is where you get those conversions because they are fully bought in to the product, the process, and the patient. That confidence is going to translate to more effective education during consultations and ultimately that stronger patient conversion profile and long-term retention rate. And then keep community at your core. Join professional networks like APN. We give you access to trusted voices, peer feedback, real world use cases that help you implement new therapies faster and more successfully. We're not here to be sales advocates. What I care about is you having access to knowledge and resources. If you ultimately determine that we're not the right fit for you, that's totally fine. But you now have an understanding of something that is currently available in the market that you didn't otherwise even know existed. And that's where we win. It's making sure that we have a community that can be representative of being experts and truly own the things that they're doing. And that's what we're trying to build here. I think the future belongs to clinics that blend regenerative science with real world simplicity. And if a therapy is going to enhance your ability to care for the whole patient inside and out, it's worth exploring. And GlycoAla Bio absolutely fits that mold.
That it does.
Yeah, I think I don't need to say anything after that. I think that really encompasses everything about it. It is very important. Just me, for example, how do you stay on top of it? How do you stay connected? It's finding resources like APN, finding the people that I've somehow stumbled into in the world that are focused on regenerative aesthetics, and that's really where to stay focused is those arenas. They're based in science and whole body, not just marketing. And let's make a bunch of money because we can. Longevity, intention, those are things too. History. I look at all those things when I'm looking at something. Intention is huge.
No, you're absolutely right. I think I think what a lot of clinics lose sight of is, they attend, events, and they speak with sales reps, and they think they're just getting sold. And a lot of times that's absolutely true. I think there's a lot of people in this industry that are out for the dollar, and that's their primary motivation. I think the big difference, and this is why we're so well aligned, is we're about education.
Mhm.
Sales are great. Money is great. But at the end of the day, what we have found is that our patients come to us because we're the experts. They stay with us because we give them an experience that they won't get anywhere else. The same thing is representative of clinics and practitioners. Practitioners come to us because we are the experts, and they stay with us because they don't get this experience anywhere else. And it is one thing to educate, it is another to educate them well enough to educate a patient. And that's the biggest difference here. For the clinic themselves, their primary end goal is to convert the patient. That's their sales mechanism. That's a business. But I think if you're approaching it from a truly like business perspective, you lose a very big piece of the understanding of what is truly driving this, and that's outcome. If the patient, you can sell the patient all day long on products, you can save money by going to a competitor, fine, do those things. You will not get the same outcome because it's not the same quality product, it's not the same quality education, and you don't have the same level of support. And that journey is everything.
That it truly is. It's all about the journey, and a journey for a lifetime. Really, we want these customers, these patients, these clients to trust us. And as we grow and evolve and learn and find new things to offer them, they're the focus. And that's maybe for me just now the difference is that this is very patient focused, and doesn't have to do with all the rest of the noise out there. It's always, what can I give them that is going to do the best for them, and really something of value and something I believe in and something that has the evidence. And that's what we're looking at.
And even after this amazing conversation with you both, and all of the science that we talked about, and the marketing and the application and the team buy-in and all of this, if we haven't convinced a clinic that this is a good choice for them yet, what would you say, Shauna, is the biggest reason to give GlycoAla Bio a serious look?
Well, as Diane said, we're not trying to get rid of your other modalities. We're trying to enhance your outcomes. We're trying to make you the best out there. And this is the one, like I said, the icing on the cake, either standalone or on top of other things that is going to set you apart. That's all I have to say. It's one of those gems.
It's one of the reasons we're so excited to partner with you. It's to be close to that gem, and we just can't wait to see what happens with aesthetics clinics and functional medicine clinics that choose to bring this on. It's going to be a game changer for them, surely.
Yeah, and we'll develop more protocols. I'm actually working on some now, how you can implement them with other treatments as well, not just standalone, because the sky's the limit. It's a biomodulator, it's a biostimulant, it's something that can be incorporated with other treatments as well. So there'll be more coming to sort of elaborate on not just the basic treatment, but how you can add them in with other things, so that's coming as well.
And we can't wait to share that. We can't wait
Yeah.
to receive it and then share it. All right,
I just did it the other day. I combined it with something, so.
Well, we can't wait. We'll be your test dummies too. You don't have to go far to find people to test on. We're right here for you.
No, I know. And the thing is that safety is paramount. Safety these days are so, taking your skin off is so dangerous. There's just so many things out there. We want to keep this immune organ as healthy and as intact as possible. And that's really the goal.
Amazing.
But change it.
Well, thank you, Shauna and Diane, for your incredible insights today. It's been an enlightening conversation about how GlycoAla Bio is revolutionizing aesthetics and functional medicine, and how clinics can benefit truly from integrating this into their practice. To our listeners, if you're looking to elevate your practice with cutting-edge treatments like GlycoAla Bio, head over to Advanced Practitioners Network website. Be sure to check out our partners page where you can learn more and sign up for an account to access exclusive resources and support. Until next time, stay innovative.
And that's a wrap on this episode of the APN podcast. If your brain isn't already buzzing with ideas, go back and listen again. Major love to Shauna Aiken for showing up and showing out with the inside scoop on GlycoAla Bio, a product that's not just skincare, it's a strategy. Between the Spongilla spicules and the all-star lineup of 11 synergistic actives, this is next level innovation that fits perfectly into modern regenerative and functional aesthetics. If you're serious about delivering results, building trust, and giving your patients that "what did you do to your skin" glow, this is the one to watch. Ready to learn more or get it into your practice? Go to www.advancedpractitionersnetwork.com and hit the partners page, or email us at info@advancedpractitionersnetwork.com and we'll take it from there. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, stay brilliant, stay bold, and stay connected with the APN.